Well, thanks so much for, getting through the day and making it here today. So you are all here to find out what it means to have a 5-star state of mind. But before I introduce myself, thank you so much for doing that for me. So I'd like to start by introducing you to some people who have already adopted this mindset. They're just business leaders across the U.S. that we know and love at Yelp.
Owning a business, especially the first time you do it, you really discover how much you didn't know about what it takes to own a business.
Being a business owner is a very humbling, daunting experience, but know that this country was built on small business owners just like us.
Advice I would give to other small businesses is to write at the top of your business plan, how do you want to make meaning? Because it's one thing to go about starting a business to make money, but it's another thing to take that passion and make meaning with it.
Owning a business, you actually get to give back so much to the community, and that's what I've learned I get to impact. It really gives me significance in what I do.
So if you want to know what kind of person I am, take a look at my business, because that's exactly who I am.
So the people in this room today, as you all are owners or managers and marketers of businesses, if we were all to take a look at your business, who would we say that you are? And so would we see that passion that you have, through the core of your business and how you present yourself to your customers? Would we see that you're striving to make meaning through that passion for your guests? And would we feel connected to that vision that you have for service excellence and the value that you provide to your guests? So as mentioned, I am the Yelp local business partner here in Seattle. I live in Queen Anne, so I am a local resource if any of you have questions going forward in the future about your location specifically. And I'm more than happy to walk one-on-one with you at any point in time. And I do host events here locally as well to help connect you with other people, thought leaders, and just networking, provide you resources to feel connected and invested in within the Seattle business community. And so every day as part of my job, I get the pleasure of meeting with great local businesses here in Seattle, in the greater area. And I hear about how daunting it can be to expose yourself through your work to people. I hear about the risks that they've taken that have paid off after just many sleepless nights and uncertain circumstances. And I also get to hear about communities embracing businesses and lifting them up and supporting them, and the fulfillment that those leaders feel when they have a happy customer leaving with a smile on their face. And so the faces that you see here captain some of the best local businesses in Seattle that I've had the chance to really get to know and spend time with. And through my interactions with their business, I actually do see them in their business. They're just wonderful people that really portray that incredible 5-star state of mind. And so they've earned a great reputation on Yelp by embracing customer feedback to create customer advocacy, to differentiate from the competition, and to improve their business. And so they all are our 5-star state of mind, kind of our expert group there. And so we're going to look at some tactics and best practices on and unpack what that means to have a 5-star state of mind and what you can do to take that back to your business to help you achieve that great online reputation. So getting feedback is critical to every business, and especially as human beings, we need feedback in our careers and in our life to do better and to improve and to grow, right? And so that's no different from your business. Everyone here, I'm sure, wants to have a great reputation online, and you can with the right mentality. And so with that goal here in mind today, let's start by putting ourselves in our customer's shoes, because at the end of the day, we all are customers, and we all kind of see these things from the other side of the table. And so let's think about what that customer journey is like and how they're discovering your business and what's ultimately prompting them to find you and make a purchase decision. And so before we had review sites, think about how we used to get information back in the 90s, the old school days. We used to use the yellow pages, my personal favorite. TV ads, we were always looking at commercials that were super crazy back in the day. And, radio ads. Those were kind of what we had, that mixed media around us to kind of see what was happening. But the most influential source of information was from our friends and our family. It was word of mouth, right? And so because of technology, we have access to word of mouth reviews for anything that we have a use for at any point in time of day. And so just with a quick show of hands, who here has used reviews of any kind to make any kind of decision in the last couple weeks? Everyone, right? And so for myself, I used reviews to help me find the car that I was going to purchase from the dealership here locally, to find the movie I was going to look for our date night on a Friday, and the cleaning service that I trust to come into my home. Consumers, we trust reviews, and we go online to help us make informed decisions. And so the most powerful marketing that is done is by everybody else, not you. It's not what you have to say, it's what others have to say. And that's that word of mouth. And so there was a study done in 2017, last year, and they do it every year, a company called Bright Local, and they do a local consumer survey, review survey, and they kind of look at consumer behavior when it comes to reviews. And they found that 85% of consumers trust reviews for local businesses as much as a personal recommendation. And that's a pretty remarkable testament to the impact and influence that reviews have in our culture. They also found that 97% of consumers read online reviews for local businesses, which goes in line with what we saw here with show of hands. So we pay attention to them. And we know that on Yelp, consumer search, they have an intent, at least to spend. We did a study with Nielsen, and they found that 92% of users make a purchase after searching on Yelp. 42% of users purchase within a day, 79% purchase within a week, and 85% of businesses share the businesses that they find on Yelp with their friends. And so these users are coming to the platform, they have an intent, they have a need, and they're looking for a product or a service on that platform to find. And so reviews, we know they play an important role every day for us in that consumer journey as we're making decisions. And so we want to pay attention to the conversations that we're having around that. But are you listening? Honestly, do you embrace customer feedback, or do you hide from it and ignore it because you're just not sure what to do with it, or you're just scared? And the problem isn't that people are talking about your business online, it's whether you've chosen to listen and engage or not. And so no matter what your current star rating is today, you have a hand in the trajectory that you can take on your business, and that starts today by kind of getting into this mindset. And so another question for you. If someone were talking about your business in real life, would you ignore them, or would you actually walk up to them and talk to them, right? You'd engage with them. And so why should the channel that your customer chooses to talk about you change your desire to engage with them? It shouldn't. Last year, I received an email from a restaurant owner who had decided to disassociate himself from online review platforms. And a few words stood out to me in particular, and they were kind of disheartening to read. Review websites have done nothing but empower passive-aggressive people who can't bring themselves to personally say if something is wrong in person to me. I do not support that and certainly don't want to encourage it. In many cases, their complaints are so trivial or flat out untrue that I won't waste any more of my time on it. But notice how he says I and me. His focus is not on the customer. And it's not about forcing his customers to deal with him the way that he wants to deal with them. It's about respecting his customers enough to let them choose the feedback mechanism that makes sense for them and approaching customer service accordingly for his business. And unless it's false or nefarious in some other way, every complaint is true from the perspective of a customer. Think about it for you. Like, what happened to you, that's what happened in your heart and your world. And there may have been extenuating circumstances. They might have had a terrible day. It might have just, we all go through that. They might have been misled by their perspective or a simple misunderstanding. But in short, what they believe has happened. So you want to just think about that as a consumer, because we expect that same thing when we're in that position. So ignoring that and refusing to reply to comments because you disagree with your customer's opinion and believe that only replying adds credence when none is due, that's more so of the issue than the complaints themselves, honestly. So put yourself in your customer's shoes, be the consumer, and we all are at the end of the day. Something I also want to shed some light on is people will tell me, well, people are only going to write reviews about my business when they're unhappy. But on Yelp, that's just not the case, and that's not what we see. We would never see 4- and 5-star businesses if that were so. On Yelp, almost 80% of reviews are 3 stars or higher, and there are more 5-star reviews than 1, 2, and 3-star reviews combined. So when people have a great experience with their business, they are there to advocate for you. They want to share that good news. And what this goes back to, though, as a business owner or manager or marketer, you're going to look at your reviews very differently from the way consumers will. And so you have a lot of preconceived context and you have a lot of information on the back end that consumers, we just want to know what's good. We just want to know if you care. So ignoring customer feedback, it's the easy route, but that's not a 5-star state of mind. And there's a book that I highly recommend reading, and it's called Hug Your Haters by author Jay Baer, and it's all about embracing customer complaints and creating customer advocacy out of that. And the mantra that he uses over and over in the book is answer every complaint in every channel every time. He makes no excuses about it. And that silence, everything is amplified online. So when you choose to respond, that response is amplified. And when your silence is there, that's amplified too. When I see one person responding and another, they both have equal weight. So the problem, again, isn't that your customers are talking about you online and shaping your reputations, whether you're actively listening and engaging or not. And so remember that what your customers have to say about you is more important than what you have to say about yourself. We will often, we're going to trust our colleagues more than we would a brand necessarily at first. Word of mouth is marketing that you didn't have to pay for. That's free. That's tangible market data at your fingertips to help you know and understand your customers better. And so those insights wield so much power in your marketing and your sales efforts, and you want to tap into that. So how do you harness the power of that feedback and use it to grow and differentiate your business? It's time for you to actively listen and join the conversation to gain consumer trust and really stand out. You have to start a dialogue with your customers, because relationships, we know that they aren't built when one person's talking at you. There's a conversation. And if you believe that business is built on relationships, you have to make building relationships your business. And so this shift in mindset, that's the foundation of what a 5-star state of mind looks like. And so once you've dedicated yourself to joining the conversation and engaging with your customers in every channel, every time, the next characteristic of a 5-star state of mind involves setting goals for customer service excellence. Great reviews are going to start with great customer experiences. And so I previously worked for a restaurant group here in Seattle, and I worked in marketing, and they've been around for almost 50 years, and their original service vision from back in the day continued to ring true even for employees that were still there to this day. And it stuck with me because it was clear and it was concise, and I bought into the value that it provided our guests. Make it right, make it special, and make it happen. No matter your function in the company, you could execute on this service vision. And it was all about creating a great customer experience and that spark that ignites customer advocacy and loyalty. And the only way that this works, though, is if your staff is on board with winning customer hearts and minds through excellent customer service. It has to be a systematic shift to truly have an impact moving forward. So you need to have a system in place for aggregating your reviews across platforms and identifying some trends and themes on a consistent basis. So you want to make sure that you take an audit of where your business is being talked about online. So everything from those channels that we know about, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, to review sites. Which review sites are you on? And then there are discussion boards that a lot of people don't think about, like Reddit. There's local conversations happening there too. You want to make sure that you're part of that and you can be a thought leader in your space, even if they're not directly talking about you. And so at a basic level, you can use a combination of things like Google Alerts. You can sign those up and put your name in there and your location, and it'll pull up any news results or any conversations happening around you. You can also use Mention.net and Hootsuite. Those are free social listening platforms that you can help manage yourself there. But if you're a multi-location brand, you're going to need an enterprise solution. And so there's something I highly recommend called New Brand Analytics from Sprinkler, and they consolidate they aggregate everything for you all into one platform and allow you to respond and monitor there. And you can get automated reports and performance analysis. So in short, if you don't know where people are talking about you, you just can't join that conversation. So once you've gone through that discovery process, you need to actually look past your star rating and dig deeper into the actual content of what your users are saying about you. Use your reviews to help you pinpoint opportunities for improvement, miscommunications, misunderstandings, and places where your staff are just absolutely winning and you're doing it right. Every opportunity for improvement has a monetary value attached to it. Everything that you fix is going to bring you back money in the end. So make actionable use of that information to improve your operations. So you got all this crowdsourced data, and you are understanding more about your business, and you see where your competitors might have a leg up on you or where you have a leg up on them. Next step is developing an actual strategy for dealing with customer feedback. And so your public show of appreciation or concern, it speaks volumes about your business's focus on the requirements of your customers. So there's a study done in that book that I mentioned, Hug Your Haters by Jay Baer and Edison Research, and they found that 16% boost in advocacy happened when consumer complaints were answered on review sites. That's an impactful number. Meanwhile, ignored complaints on review sites experience a 37% decline in customer advocacy, and that goes in line with what we feel as consumers. So this is your opportunity to use engagement as a way to outshine your competitors. If they're not responding and you are, you have something there. So a year ago, I think most of you might remember a news story about Chef John Howie and his response to a review that was about one of his restaurants, where the reviewer was griping about the price hike that he had and just the pricing in general. But as a side note, in my experience, there are a few levers that we can pull that impact customer perception of value. And so when a guest chooses to dine or to stay with you, their value perception starts at 100%. Like, they chose you because they have faith in you. They trust you based on what they've learned. And so from the moment that they step into your business, every action or inaction from your staff, that chips away or it adds to that perceived value. And with things like pricing, yes, your food and beverage and accommodations should go in line with the value and expectations that your customers have. And it's ultimately up to them at the end to see if that does indeed meet their expectations. But you want to incrementally provide value through those interactions with your guest and make price less of an issue because they had a great experience. And so get your staff on board with outstanding customer service, and let those staff members be in the business of building relationships. So let's hear from Chef John Howie on his philosophy for responding to reviews.
So as an owner of several restaurants in the area, what do you make of those reviews? How do you interpret them, and how do you normally respond?
Well, first of all, we're going to read the review. Mm-hmm. If I believe that it has validity and it's something that we need to fix, we're going to apologize, we're going to tell them how we're going to fix it, and we're going to respond. We respond to positive reviews and we respond to negative reviews because we want them to know we're listening. It's our guests. They're the ones who are going to keep us alive. They're the ones who are paying the bill. So we want to make sure we listen to them. Now, if someone, I believe, is unreasonable in something, I may or may not respond. Mm-hmm. But if they're reasonably trying to converse with me, I'm going to talk back and tell them what I think, or tell them how we're going to fix it. Mm-hmm. I think it's important.
So we know more consumers are placing an importance on businesses actually responding to reviews. So let's dive deeper into some best practices for actually responding. And so, positive reviews. You should be responding to your positive reviews. This is a no-brainer. Satisfied customers are the best way to market your business because they become your word-of-mouth army at the end. So they're part of that 85% that I told you is sharing the businesses that they find on Yelp, and they're bringing you more business. So engage with them. Like, say thank you. And there are a couple options for actually responding to positive reviews. So if you have something new to add, if you have some additional information, so say you remember them and you want to kind of say thank you and make it more personalized, that's a great way to do that there. If they highlighted something in their review and you want to amplify it, you can do that. If you have news about an upcoming event or a special or something that's relevant to what they said, that's your opportunity to educate them, but anybody else that's going to be looking at that review in the future. And if you don't have anything new to end, you can always send them a quick direct message and just create that connection. Say thank you, build that relationship and that trust with your happiest customers. And there's been a lot of studies done and tons of different numbers, but in general, we know it takes 5 to 10 times more amount of work to bring in a new customer versus retaining your loyal customers already. And a 5-star set of mine, it celebrates and amplifies those wins. So when you're doing it right, share that positivity. Share the reviews that you get with your team, especially if somebody's called out specifically for providing great customer service or just there was a really special moment. Share that with the team. Use that as an example and inspire them to create those experiences continuously to execute on that service vision that you have. Share your great reviews on your social channels, on your website, on your marketing collateral. That's all free for you to use. You can use the photos that are posted up as well, as long as you attribute to the user. Positive reviews, it's free marketing material. You want to make sure that it's just not staying where it is. You want to amplify it. Use it to the full extent that you have and make a true impact with those great reviews that you do get. And so we'll touch on critical reviews. And so there's 3 different ways or types here. So legitimate, where the reviewer, they raise a concern that's worth addressing, and that's when things don't go according to plan and that feedback is worth acknowledging. The inaccurate review, where the reviewer misunderstands or misrepresents your business, and the rant, that's unhelpful and unproductive and just usually from really miserable people. And so remember that when you're responding to reviews with the public comment, you're not responding to that one person. You're responding to everybody else. And that's a good thing because you have that opportunity to set the record straight, to apologize to a customer, and to reinforce your customer service practices and your values as a business. And you're educating along the way. So you don't want to get into a back and forth dialogue with your customers online. My rule of thumb is reply only twice and leave it at that. Take it offline, send them a direct message, provide your information, provide your contact, your phone number, your email, and let them know that you want to address this situation further offline. Consider that your responses might not always be public. We live in a world where people screenshot things now, so be diplomatic and professional and thoughtful in those public or those private responses as well in case someone were to share that. And so what's a presentation without an acronym? So I got one for you. So it's EAT, and keep this in mind when you're crafting your negative reviews. And so empathy. This is the common trait that I've identified and seen in every best of breed business leader. Think about how you'd want to be spoken to in the same situation. Be in your customer's shoes. Think about that. Authenticity. You can't fake empathy. You need to truly care about what you do. And don't use a templated response. It's not genuine when I see thank you, or the same response down the line. Show your temperament, your values, and your belief that your customers deserve to be heard. Action, what will be done as a result of their feedback, what actions will be taken, and if you're just passing along that feedback to the appropriate team or person, you want to let them know so that they are made aware that you actually listened. And timeliness. At Yelp, we see that users are 33% more likely to upgrade their reviews and ratings for a business when the owner responds with a personalized message within 24 hours. So timeliness is key here. Good rule of thumb, responding to critical reviews is 24 hours, positive reviews within 48 hours. And if you're consistent, you can keep up with the pace here if you're doing that daily. And during my time at that restaurant group that I mentioned earlier, we had a distributed model. So we held our GMs accountable for responding to reviews, and we monitored that at the corporate level. And so we required 100% review response rate every month, which we tracked through our social listening platform. And their bonuses were even tied to their response rate. So we took engagement seriously, and they could feel the impact of that at the bottom line. And a few final thoughts when crafting your critical response review. So take a minute. It can be tough to hear critical feedback, especially if you're the business owner, if it's directed towards you. Take the time to reflect on it and think about what you actually want to say. You can write the one that you want to, but make sure you delete it or throw it away. And if one is particularly harder for you to swallow, delegate that to a manager or a colleague, somebody that can do that for you. You can approve it, you can look at it, or just have a manager do it and just take a look later. But take the high road. You're always going to win when you do. And take comfort knowing that you can't please 100% of people 100% of the time. Even 5-star businesses are going to get a 1-star review. But it's all in how you take it and move on from that. Know that you can feel better by doing everything that you could in the situation to address it and go from there. And so we'll take a look at those thoughts in action with a few examples of responses. These might be hard to see but I'll try to read it here. So this is a 4-star review. The store was incredibly cute with tea-related memorabilia everywhere, with walls lined with tea and tea drink-related books available to cruise while you drink your tea. The employees were incredibly sweet and friendly as well. The only downside is there were only 2 tables and 2 seats for us to sit down and relax. They definitely want you to get up and look around, and just wanted to sit down and enjoy my tea. Really enjoyable store. And so this was for Steepology in Belltown, and the owner Joe, he says, "Hi Mary, thank you for visiting our store and thank you so much for the review. We've recently, in the past couple of weeks, quadrupled our seating options through a store redesign and installed a separate Wi-Fi line just for customers. We hope that you're able to visit again sometime soon." So he actually took her feedback and made it actionable to improve his customer experience and make it better for not just her, but everybody else. And he educated anybody else reading that review that he took that and did something with it. So this is a 5-star review. I'll have to get a picture of this one. And this was actually an updated review. So it was 3 stars originally, and it was about a month before they updated the review. Ordered delivery for the first time tonight. The pizza was pretty good, not life-changing. She had some chicken strips, 3 for $10. She said that they were hot on the outside, cold on the inside. But she updated it to that 5-star review, and she said that they took the time to come back to her, make it right. He addressed the situation, so A++ rating for customer service. And the owner's response here was, "While I'm thrilled to know you love the pizza you got, I apologize for the chicken strips didn't follow suit, Rachel. It's not like those should be anything but tender and juicy. Just know that we use the best ingredients possible and want nothing more for you to be truly satisfied. Looking forward to showing you the full 5-star experience next time around." So he apologized for it. He took ownership for that situation, and he made it up to her. He reached out to her privately, and he told her, "Come back, try it on me." And she did, and she updated her review. And this is a 3-star review. It's like, we went for Sunday brunch. A little disappointed, we went to celebrate our recent engagement, and the hostess completely forgot and didn't even know. I specifically made a reservation and made sure to mention we were engaged. Our server and his partner were wonderful and very attentive. We added the bottomless mimosas. We tried every flavor. Mimosas tasted chemically, almost like they were made some sort of syrup. That was disappointing. The food was just meh, nothing really good. Considering our meal cost $100 with tip, I felt the quality could have been much better. 3 stars for the waiter because he really was the star of our food experience. Don't think we'll be back next time we come to Seattle or anytime for that matter. So she had that 100% view of this restaurant, and it just kind of got chipped away by all those little things. But the waiter, he made that experience worth it, and that's why she gave him the 3 stars here. And so this is the response from Justin Emery at Palisade, and he says, "Hi Leah, thank you for taking the time to provide us with a review for your most recent visit at Palisade for our City View weekend brunch. I'm terribly sorry that you didn't get to the food that day. I followed up with our chef, and he is ensuring that all recipes are being followed to specifications. I assure you that we do not use syrups in our mimosa flavors. We actually use fresh pureed fruit. I have also asked our bar manager to inspect the process and ensure adherence. I know we will improve. I know that you are not local, but Palisade would love the opportunity to impress you. If you're in the MLTV again, please reach out. Thank you and have a great day." He took that feedback, he said the action, what he's doing with it. He's talking to his staff, he's letting them know, I want to make sure that this is correct. Even if it is, that's fine, it was her perception, but she knows that he took that back to her. And I love that he knows that she wasn't local. He really personalized it by saying, "I'm going to make this right for you. If you ever come back, please contact me." And then 1-star review. This is, "I am a mild-mannered man, but the mixed media politics show sent me into an undying rage. Improv show just turned into a total screen fest, forgoing quality for volume and a spectacular display of intro to improv disaster. Horrific music act and 0 relevant topical matter to the actual theme, politics. This was a vaudeville show of total calamity." It's very, very dramatic. So this was the response from Kent, the marketing director at Unexpected Productions Improv at Pike Place. And he says, "Hi, author. Please accept our most sincere apology. We let you down in a major way. There is no excuse. This show is a bit different for us. It is not 100% overseen by our artistic staff, but doesn't excuse an off night. Please contact me directly so I can discuss ways of making it up to you. Thanks for your review and sharing your experience. Although I can't change your experience, I will do what I can to rectify it." And again, he owns up to an off night. I talked to him afterwards about this review in particular, and he's like, "Yeah, it just sucked, and I felt bad." And he actually came and he tried to make this right, but he acknowledged that. And I love that his humility, and he took that feedback and was able to make himself human in that and say, yes, we are human. We are not 100% all the time. And so this is a fun one. It's an interesting screenshot. It's the only proof that I have that it exists, so it's a weird font. But it's a 1-star review for Foreign National. And they say, "This place is completely full of shit. Mediocre and no real character. The concept has been overdone and there's nothing unique about it. If it has to exist, I wish it would be elsewhere, not in Capitol Hill. I'm sure you'll love it if you're dead inside and craving an Instagram opportunity." Vicious, right? But Eric Johnson, I used to work with him, and this is a true testament to his personality. He calls it like it is, and I love it. So he says, "This one is particularly rich. You weren't even let in. You were told there was a wait, and you started screaming about how you don't wait to get into bars on Capitol Hill. Your behavior was so over the top, in fact, that you were then informed that you would not be welcome at all. This, of course, is a permanent state, though we're pleased to assume you won't even try to come back. Unless, of course, you'd like to see a video of the incident. Spoiler, it's not flattering. So I love that he calls it like it is. He doesn't let this person misrepresent his business. And you can do that. You have a voice. You have every right to tell your side of the story. And this guy got called out, so he deleted his review because he was being dumb. And so finally, a 5-star state of mind, you care about the integrity of your reputation. We've learned that if you're taking an organic approach to getting reviews, you're going to have more success. And so when some businesses ask for reviews and others don't, it kind of makes it hard for users to judge based on what's that level playing field. And so don't interfere with the natural flow of reviews, but inspire those reviews organically. And so last year, my husband and I, we took a trip to Disneyland, and I was looking for the best burrito I could find in Anaheim, and all signs led to Sabroso Mexican Grill in Garden Grove, and they had 4.5 stars with 2,200 reviews, which was crazy. It was awesome. So, but as soon as we pull up, I know exactly what platform they are proud to have that reputation on. They have people love us on Yelp stickers everywhere, and I knew exactly when I left why they had that. They had amazing customer service, and they were willing to recommend other businesses that we should go to that were just as great as them. And so you want to make sure that you let people know where to find you, but here are some kind of tips for upholding that integrity for you. So don't post reviews of your business or your competitors. It should be a pretty easy one to follow. Don't offer freebies and discounts or payment in exchange for reviews. So the FTC has actually updated their guidelines to incorporate online reviews as part of their endorsement guidelines. And not only is it not ethical to pay for reviews, it could be illegal in many cases. So make sure that you are not doing that. And people that do are like Amazon or Nordstrom, when you get an email saying to leave a review, they do have to say on there this person was, whether if it was a promotional thing or they entered a raffle or whatever it is, we have to disclose that information. Don't work with companies or third parties that offer to fix your reviews. They can't. There's nothing that they can do more so than you can for free, so you're just wasting your money. They might be able to tell you, they might be able to just flag your reviews for you, but you can do that for yourself. Don't ask anyone to write reviews for your business, including friends, families, and customers. When you ask a customer, it has a bias to it. Of course, you want a positive review, but you can let them know that you care about feedback and where you are. All of those tactics, they erode customer trust. And don't pressure or sue or pay people to alter or remove critical reviews. Again, that's eroding that trust there. And of course, Yelp would not exist without great content, and so we care about the quality versus the quantity, and we want those customers' experiences to truly be the way that those are inspired. And so some best practices for growing your reviews organically: let customers know that you participate in review sites, that you care about feedback, however, wherever they choose to provide it. And that might include a verbal mention, hey, find us on Yelp, check us out on Google, check us out on whatever platform that is. If you're asking for a review, that kind of gives that bias there. But you want to make sure that you have signage, like find us on Yelp stickers or check us out on Google, check in. We have check-in offers on Yelp that are free for you to use. So if you it could be anything from a free high five to 10% off or a free tea. When a person checks in, you'll actually get a list of all the businesses that they visited, and it'll say your next review awaits. And that's another way for you to organically build those reviews, because we know that customer uses the platform, and they're already in our ecosystem, and we can provide those recommendations. And in the end, you just want to make sure, again, that those customers' experiences are the reason why people are leaving that great review. But you can use, star ratings and reviews as testimonials on your website. See people do it all the time. You can leave in your email signatures or your business cards, find us on Yelp, read our reviews on Yelp. And then I have some find us on Yelp stickers at my table if you would like some for your storefronts. And then if you've won the People Love Us on Yelp award, those are for the businesses that have really high star ratings and have just earned that consistently. We do that twice a year. That's a great way for you to kind of tout that and show your excellence there. And so we know that every business here, you all want to have a great reputation online, and you can with those 5-star state of mind mentality rules. And so it's just time for you to actively join the conversation, gain consumer trust, and stand out by engaging. Recognize the influence of online reviews and how customers use them is the first step. Know where your business is being talked about online. Hone in on a sustainable strategy for actually responding to customer feedback in every channel, every time. Respond to both critical and positive reviews using that EAT method. Amplify the positivity when something goes well and celebrate those wins. And don't ask for reviews, but leave that trail of breadcrumbs so people know where to find you. And just be in the business of building relationships at the end of the day. So 6 months from now, as all of us were in this room again, if we were as managers and owners and marketers, who would we say that you are in that time? And so, so I am here. I live here locally. Help us here. You can visit our local microsite. It's seattle.yelpbizconnect.com, and you can learn about some of the workshops that we host and free networking events. And there's just great opportunities to connect you with other business owners and leaders in the market. You can email me. My email address is Augsburger, AUGSBUR @Yelp. If you ever have a question, you're not sure how to respond to a review, if you want to get your page updated in some way, more than happy to help. And biz.yelp.com, that's where you can manage and download our free app for managing your business page there. So, thanks, guys. If you have any questions, I'll leave it open for the next 10 minutes or so, or 5 minutes or so. And if you have anything, feel free to come see me at happy hour too. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much.